Very good evening to all of you. Slightly technical problem, because of that we are late by 10 minutes. Extremely sorry for that. Today topic is refund. Meanwhile, there is one or two requests. Mr. Ashwin, surely I would take care your point. Fine. And let me start the refund chapter. I am starting the point at which we have left in the last class, and one participant has asked the question, sir, which route is better? Should I export on payment of IGST or against LUT? Which route is better? Prima facie, I can say that because in the LUT route, you are not required to pay any taxes. So prima facie, you may feel that the LUT would always be better because working capital is not get blocked. But there are 2 points in which the on payment of IGST route is more appropriate, more better compared to the export route, export against LUT. What is the 2 point? The point number 1, if I am exporting the goods, point to be noted, I am talking about exporting the goods. If I am exporting the goods on payment of IGST, it is an automatic route. There is no requirement to file a refund application. It is automatic route. Exporting the goods on IGST, if my GST returns data match with the IceGate data, automatically refund would be initiated. The first major advantage. Second major advantage, if you furnish the letter of undertaking and exporting, whether it is a goods or services, you can take the refund of accumulated ITC. You can take the refund of accumulated ITC, and in which you are entitled to take the refund of input and input service. The refund on account of the capital goods is blocked. You are not permitted to take the refund of capital goods under LUT route. However, if you are exporting, whether it is goods or services, you are entitled to take the refund of taxes paid. And for payment of the taxes, I might use my ITC of input service, or even capital goods also. So indirectly, I can say on payment of IGST, I'm entitled to use my capital goods ka ITC, and whatever the tax is paid, I can take the refund. Indirectly, I can say entitle the refund of capital goods also, indirectly. And second advantage, if you are exporting the goods on IGST, it is automatic route. I hope it is clear. Let me start the topic. This question was being asked yesterday in the last class. Now, when you are filing the refund application, okay, then you see, in case the goods or services are exported on payment of IGST, you would be entitled to take the refund of IGST paid. And if you are exporting the goods or services or supplying to the SEZ unit against LUT, or in case of the inverted duty structure, there is a new concept which we are going to discuss in detail. You can take the refund of accumulated ITC. There are various categories of the refund, like deemed export, excess balance in electronic cash ledger, or supplies on which is not provided either wholly or partly, and for which invoice has not been issued. It means I have paid the taxes on advance, but I have not issued the invoice, and finally the service has not been given. In that case, I am entitled to take the refund of taxes paid. There is a provision of section 77 which talks about if I have assumed my transaction as intra-state supply. So I am making the supply, I assumed it is intra, and I have paid CGST and SGST. Let's say in future it comes to know that it was interstate transaction. Section 77 of CGST Act read with section 19 allow me that pay the correct taxes of IGST and take the refund of wrong taxes. It is also one of the category of refund. Then tourist living in India or consequent to the order of decree, etc. Provisional assessment, I can take the refund. UIN category, yes, they are also allowed to take the refund. Then retail outlet. Now this category has been omitted. Earlier there was a category of refund of the taxes to the retail outlet. Now this category has been omitted. Next, casual taxable person or non-resident taxable person are allowed, and refund of excess payment of tax. These are the multiple category of refund. Now let me start one by one. First, when you are filing the refund application, this is form number RFD01 in most of the cases. But if you are exporting the goods on payment of IGST, repeating once again, exporting the goods on payment of IGST, then refund application, no refund application, shipping bill filed by the exporter shall be deemed to be the refund application. There is no requirement of any refund application. Exporting the goods on payment of IGST. Then further, a registered person claiming the refund of electronic cash ledger in accordance with the provision of section 49(6) may claim the refund. Earlier, it was talking about through return furnished. Earlier, the language of the section was talking about the GST returns. Now they have omitted the reference of the returns. They are saying in such form and such manner. Please note one thing. Now, if I'm like to take the refund of excess cash balance, refund of the amount lying in my cash ledger, I have to file the refund application in RFD1. There was a gap in the actual practice and the language of the act, which has been amended. Supply regarded as deemed export. We all know that section 147 read with notification 48 talks about there are 4 transactions which are treated as deemed export. Let me quickly recap. The supply against advance authorization, supply of the capital goods against EPCG license, supply of goods to the export oriented unit, or supply of the gold by bank or PSU against advance authorization by notification 50. In the 4 category, the transactions are considered as deemed export, and please note that in the category of deemed export, either supplier or recipient, anyone can apply for refund. This is the category wherein either supplier or recipient, anyone can apply for the refund. What is the sequence? What is the stage? Okay. Then supply to the supply to the special economic zone. We know that the zero rated supply means export and supply to the SEZ unit. Again, there is 2 routes. For zero rated supply, there are 2 routes. For zero rated supplies, there are 2 routes. What is 2 routes? Same. I can make the zero rated supplies on payment of IGST, take the refund of IGST paid, or I can file letter of undertaking and then in that case I will apply the refund for accumulated ITC. Please note that if I am not furnishing letter of undertaking, so if I'm not paying the taxes and furnishing letter of undertaking, I still would be entitled to take the refund of accumulated ITC, correct? So Shivam has asked the question that whether interest would be applicable in case of section 77. Answer would be no. This provision itself clearly says that intra become inter or vice versa. You are not required to pay any interest. The casual taxable person and non-resident taxable person. Quickly tell me the CTP or NRTP, what is the initial time? What is the initial time period for which the registration would be valid? My question is, in case of the casual taxable person or non-resident taxable person, what could be the maximum time period for which the registration would be valid? Please give me the quick answer. You already have read this chapter in the registration, so I know you know the provision of section 27 perfectly. Kindly give me the reply, the time limit for which the registration would be maximum valid in case of the CTP or NRTP. Perfect. So here we all know that in case of these two categories, they have to pay the advance tax. They have to pay the advance tax on estimated basis. But let's say they have paid rupees 1 lakh, and let's say assume the actual sale was lesser and actual tax liability was 80,000. So excess tax already paid 20,000. They are entitled to take the refund, correct? And time limit within which refund can be filed. Any refund which we have talked about, the time limit is 2 years. 2 year ka counting would be 2 year ka counting, 2 year ka. Now we need to understand of relevant date, because time limit is 2 year, but 2 year would be counted from relevant date, but relevant date can be vary from transaction to transaction. What is the relevant date? Let us discuss. In case of goods exported out of India, then the goods are exported by sea or air, then date on which the ship or the aircraft in which the goods are loaded leaves India. If it is exported by land, then date on which the goods pass the custom frontier of India. If it is being exported by post, then the date of the dispatch of the goods by the post office. So my question, which I have asked, what is the validity period? The initial maximum number of days, it would be valid for 90. They can again extend for a further period of 90. That's it. 90 plus 90, maximum 180 days. Coming back to the relevant date. So we have discussed what is the relevant date for export of goods, or what is the relevant date for services. Now, in case of the services, in back of the mind, try to remember one trick. In back of the mind, try to remember one trick. What is that? Invoice or payment, whichever is later. Repeating again, what we are talking about? Relevant date. Relevant date, in case of the export of service, if the supply of the service has been completed prior to the receipt of payment, it means payment is pending. Then what is the date? The date of the payment in the convertible foreign exchange or INR, wherever permitted by Reserve Bank of India. Correct? So what is the concept which you have to remember? Invoice or payment, whichever is later. Here, the clause 1 talking about invoice service has already been completed, but the payment is being later on. So what is the relevant date? Date on which the payment is being received. And if the payment has been received in advance, then what is the date? Date of invoice. Correct? I hope it is clear. In case of the deemed export, what is the relevant date? The date on which the return relating to such deemed export is furnished. Now there was a doubt which has been clarified by circular. What was the doubt? In case of the deemed export, we know either supplier or recipient, anyone can go for the refund. And we have already discussed in the last class, deemed export. Quickly tell me in the chat, can I do the supply of the deemed export against LUT without payment of tax? My question is, can I do the supply of deemed export without payment of taxes, that is against LUT? Is it possible? Yes or no? Quickly give me the reply. As we know that recipient or supplier, anyone can go for the refund. They are saying the time limit is 2 years from the relevant date. And what is the relevant date? The date on which the return relating to such deemed export is furnished. Now the doubt was aroused, the return furnished by whom? By supplier or by recipient? Suppose if the recipient is filing the refund, whether he has to see when he has furnished the return or always supplier. It has been clarified by the circular, and the answer was that we will look the GST return filed by the supplier in which deemed export outward supply has been reported. The date of supplier, date on which the return has been furnished by the supplier, not by the recipient, irrespective of the fact whether refund is being furnished by recipient or by supplier, doesn't matter. But for counting the relevant date, we will always take the date of return furnished by the supplier. In case of the judgment decree order, the date of the communication of the decree or order. In case of the refund of unutilized ITC under inverted duty structures. Okay, fine. So my last question, the answer would be no, because the deemed export is not an export and not a zero rated supplies. Therefore, the LUT option is not available for deemed export. I have to pay the tax to the government for deemed export supply. Invoice, always invoice. Shivam Gandhi, it will always be considered as invoice. In case of the unutilized ITC, see the return, due date of the return. See, due date of the return. Which return? Section 39 return. So when I have furnished the GSTR3B, it is irrelevant. What is the due date to furnish the return under Section 39? That would be counted for what? Refund of unutilized ITC on account of the inverted duty structure. Might be you have the doubt, what is the inverted duty? Just wait for a couple of minutes and we will discuss. We have the detailed discussion, the refund on export and the refund against inverted duty structures. This 2 points we are going to discuss in large at a detail. In the case where the tax is paid provisionally under this act or the rules made thereunder, then date of adjustment of tax after the final assessment thereof. Okay. In case of the person other than supplier, then date of the receipt of the goods or services by such person, and any other case, date of the payment of tax. Now, certain point which we have to understand. If suppose I have to take the refund of financial year 17, 18, 18, 19, can I club financial year or not? Earlier, at the initial time, there was problem. But now they are saying you can, yes, club the refund application, even though the tax period are falling under 2 different financial year, you can club. Now, this point, documentary evidence for filing the refund application. So when you apply the refund, you have to provide the document. What is the list of the document we have to see? Section 54 subsection 4 talking about list of document. 1 point, that the relevant date, they have added one more category. What is that category? Refund in case of supply to the SEZ unit. What would be the relevant date? That there are certain changes which we are going to discuss in the amendment to the refund chapter, that we are going to take separately. What is the documentary evidence? Such documentary evidence as may be prescribed to establish that refund is due to that applicant. What is the concept of unjust enrichment? Unjust enrichment. What is the concept? Try to explain. Let me try to explain. Then we will read the provision. See, they are saying because of refund. Suppose I am applying for the refund. Because of the refund, I should not be unjustifiable enriched. Meaning, I should not become rich without any loss of tax or without bearing the tax. See, if I have borne the tax, then I can apply the refund and I can take the refund. Suppose, let's take any example in which I have supplied the goods to you. I have collected the tax from you. Now I am saying to the government, please give me the refund of this particular category. I'm not going into the one category. I'm talking about in broader sense, what is the concept of unjust enrichment? See, if I have collected from you, fine, and I am applying the refund, and let's say government is giving the refund to me, it means I am getting the tax from you as well as from the government. Because of not justifiable reason, I become enriched. And that is the reason at every point of time, in case of the refund application, the basic concept is, in case of the refund, there is a basic concept, the unjust enrichment should be satisfied. There should be no unjust enrichment. Means unjustifiable, I should not be rich. So I have to provide the documentary or sometime other evidence. Okay. As the applicant may furnish to establish that there is no unjust enrichment. Perfect. However, where the amount is less than rupees 2 lakh, then there is no requirement to furnish the documentary evidence. We can simply give the declaration. That's it. Now, Rule 89 Sub-Rule 2. See, for the refund, Section 54 and Rule 89 is highest importance, and there are some other procedural rule which talks about Rule 90, Rule 91, etc. But at most priority, Section 54, Rule 89 and Rule 96. These are the three provisions which you have to thoroughly remember or thoroughly read, and rest are procedural. Now I am moving to the Rule 89 Sub-Rule 2. Till now, is it clear? Can you please confirm that till now is it clear? Please confirm. Till now is it clear to everyone? Any doubt, any question you can ask. Fine. In pursuance of the said provisions, Rule 89 Sub-Rule 2 talks about the documentary details. If the refund is on account of the judgment, decree, direction of the court, then copy of the order passed by the proper officer or appellate authority or tribunal or court. Okay. If it is an export of service, then a statement containing the number and date of invoice. A statement containing the number and date of invoice and the relevant bank realization certificate BRC or FIRC, foreign inward remittance certificate, as the case may be. So in the export of service, I can file the refund only when the amount is realized. Only when the amount is realized, because I have to provide the copy of the FIRC or BRC. No, that has been, Shivam, not required, but that has been clarified by the circular. There is a one circular, I think 166, in which this point has been clarified, that there is no unjust enrichment required in case of refund of cash ledger. Okay, we are going to discuss in detail. This particular circular has been given in the amendment. In case of the export of the goods, a statement containing the number and date of shipping bill or bill of export and the number and date of the relevant export invoices. It is important to note that realization of foreign exchange is not the precondition. Very, very important. See, I can apply the refund in case of the service only after realization of the amount in the foreign currency or RBI permit, wherever it can come in INR. Okay. In case of the export of the goods, it is not the precondition. It is not the precondition that you should receive the foreign currency, then only you can apply for the refund. But point to be noted that there is a rule 96B point to be noted that there is a rule 96B which talks about, suppose I have exported the goods and I have taken the refund of GST, accumulated ITC or taxes paid, any. Now, if the amount is not being received within the FEMA time limit, if the amount for export of the goods is not being realized within the time limit of the FEMA, whatever the refund I have received, I have to return that refund to the government along with interest. And they are saying whenever this amount is being realized in future, you can apply the refund again within 30 days. Interest would be the loss, but yes, you can again apply for the refund within 30 days. This is the rule 96B. If supply of the goods is made to the SEZ unit or developer containing the number and date of invoice as provided in rule, along with evidence regarded in full for authorized operation as endorsed by the specified officer of SEZ. Supply to the SEZ unit. Let me talk about goods, or even it can for services also. It should be for authorized operation, and there is a requirement of endorsement by the specified officer of SEZ unit. These are the two important things in case of the supply to the SEZ unit. In addition, a declaration to effect that tax has been collected from SEZ is also required to be furnished. Sorry, tax has not been collected from SEZ. It means, because again, if I have collected, then obviously I cannot apply for the refund. Why? Because I would become unjustifiable enrich. Remember, here in case of refund, I have to prove that there is no unjust enrichment. Correct. And if I have collected the tax, then it will be deemed that I have passed the incidence of the tax to you, and I have not borne the incidence of tax. If I have not borne the incidence of tax, I cannot take the refund. Requesting everyone, if you have any question, kindly ask at the same time. Statement containing the number and date of invoice with an acknowledgement. A statement containing the number and date of invoice along with an acknowledgement by the jurisdictional tax officer of advance authorization or EPCG authorization holder, as the case may be, that the said deemed export have been received by the said advance authorization, EPCG holder, or a copy of the tax invoice which such supply have been made by the supplier, duly signed by recipient EOU that such deemed export supply have been received by it. So there is an acknowledgement by the jurisdictional tax officer. Then undertaking by the recipient of the deemed export or supply that no ITC on such supply has been availed by him. Correct. That we have to take the undertaking or from the recipient that ITC has not been availed by him. Undertaking by the recipient of deemed export, by the recipient that he has not claimed the refund of such supply, because we know that in case of the deemed export, recipient or supplier, anyone can go for the refund. If supplier is going for the refund, he has to take the declaration from the recipient that yes, he has not taken the ITC, and second, he will not apply for the refund. He has not applied for the refund. Okay. A refund of unutilized ITC on account of the inverted duty. What is the meaning of inverted duty? Can any participant please tell me what is the concept of inverted duty? I'm giving you 1 minute. I'm giving you 1 minute. Please quickly tell me what is the meaning of inverted duty. No issue, Viraj. Able to understand the chapter or not? Are you able to understand this chapter or not? what is the meaning of inverted duty? Because it is coming multiple times, so it's better to explain right now. The word inverted duty means correct. When the rate of input is higher than the rate of outward supply. Here, you will only compare the goods. You will not allowed to take the refund of services, and you will not allowed to take the refund of capital goods. In case of inverted duty structure, what is the inverted duty? When the rate of tax on input means only goods, is higher than the rate on outward supply. Outward supply can be goods or can be services. Here you might get confused. Please note, outward supply can be goods or can be service also. But the rate which you compare, you will always compare the input. What is the meaning of input? Input means only goods. Second point, that in case of the inverted duty, you are not entitled to take the refund of input service and capital goods. No, not allowed. So if I say that in case of zero rated supplies against LUT, I can take the refund of input, it means goods. I can take the refund of input service, but I cannot take the refund of capital goods. In case of the refund of accumulated ITC, on account of the inverted duty, I would be allowed to take the refund of input, not input service, not capital goods. Yes, if I am doing some payment of IGST, which I will get the refund, of taxes paid. But please note one thing, that tax paid from input or input service or capital goods. The difference between these three major categories of the refund. Let me move to the thank you all the participants whomsoever has given the answer about the inverted duty, really appreciable. So if I am applying the refund of accumulated ITC on account of the inverted duty, then statement containing the number and date of invoice received and issued during the tax period. Provisional assessment, final assessment, wrongly collected and paid for the transaction considered statement showing the details of the amount of the claim on account of the excess payment of tax. Fine. So this part we have already discussed. If the amount is not exceeding 2 lakh, then only declaration would suffice that no unjust enrichment. If the amount exceed 2 lakh, a chartered accountant or a cost accountant in practice to the effect that no unjust in case of the. Please note one thing further, neither declaration nor certificate would be required in the following case. So I can say these are the exception to the unjust enrichment. First, a refund of taxes paid on account of the export. A refund of unutilized ITC in case of, again, zero rated supplies. Third is refund of the tax is paid on a supply which is not provided either wholly or partially, and for which invoice has not been issued and where a refund voucher has been issued. Fourth is section 77, we have already discussed. And fifth is tax or interest borne by such other class of the applicant as the government may, on the recommendation of the council by notification, specify. Very nice. Very nice. Now we are talking about rule 90, that what is the procedure. First, we are talking about cash ledger. For taking the refund of the cash ledger, okay, the provision which we talk about, that you have to take the refund of the cash ledger in the return which is going to be filed, but that has been amended. What is now that in case of the refund of excess cash balance, you have to file the refund application, that RFD 01. Correct. The refund application will be forwarded to the proper officer, and within a period of 15 days, the said application is scrutinized the application for its completeness. When the application is found to be complete in terms of the rule 89, acknowledgement in prescribed form shall be made available to the applicant. Okay. So refund acknowledgement clearly indicate that date of the filing of the claim for the refund order is required to be issued within 60 days. If not, then the amount would be refunded along with interest. Okay. 60 days from the date of the filing claim for refund, as mentioned in the said acknowledgement. If suppose while checking the refund application they are not satisfied, then they will issue the deficiency memo. Where any discrepancy are noticed, the proper officer shall communicate the deficiency memo, and in that case, the applicant has to file the refund application again. Applicant has to file the refund application again after rectifying the discrepancy. So grant of the provisional refund. 90% of the refund would be granted within 7 days. Okay. On account of the zero rated supplies, the 90% of the refund would be granted within 7 days. GST law provides for the grant of the provisional refund in case the claim relate for the refund arising on account of the zero rated supplies and remaining 10% after due verification. Okay. The provisional refund would not be granted to such supplier who was during any period of 5 years immediately preceding the refund period was prosecuted. Okay. So what is the 54.6? It says that refund on account of the zero rated supplies, it can be goods or services other than such category of the registered person as may be notified. Refund would be 90% and balance 10% would be after verification. Okay. The provisional refund shall be granted subject to the condition that the person claiming the refund during any period of the 5 years immediately preceding the tax period to which the claim for the refund relate, not being prosecuted for any offense or under an existing law where the tax amount is exceed 2.5 crore. So that is the limitation, no provisional refund. Proper officer after scrutiny. After scrutiny of the claim and evidence submitted in support, prima facie satisfied that refund is due to the applicant, then shall make an order in the prescribed form within a period of not exceeding 7 days. Okay. The proper officer will issue the payment order for an amount sanctioned. The same shall be electronically credited to the bank account which has been furnished by the applicant. Now, refund. So there are certain theoretical provision which we are going to complete, and after that we will discuss in length about export ka refund against LUT and refund against inverted duty structures. Okay, that these two provisions are to be discussed in length. Refund order. Section 54.5 says that on receipt of the application, the proper officer satisfied amount claim is refundable, then he may make an order accordingly. And the amount so determined shall be credited to the consumer welfare fund. So now there are two parts. Section 54 subsection 5 says that when the refund application is being applied, okay, is made, then the amount would be credited to the consumer welfare fund instead of giving to the applicant. But there is a provision 54 subsection 8 which talks about that refund would be instead of crediting to the consumer welfare fund, it will be given to the applicant. Now I can say 54.7, 54.5 is talking about crediting to the consumer welfare fund, but other than the situation of 54.8. What is the situation? We'll discuss in some time. Okay, that is being referred. Now, where upon examination, the officer is satisfied the refund is due and payable to the applicant, he may make an order, then amount mentioning therein. Okay. Amount of the refund completely adjusted against any outstanding demand. In case where the refund is completely adjusted against any outstanding demand, an order shall be issued. Okay. Refund to be granted in cash and credit based on the original mode of payment. Now, this is important point. What happened earlier? Suppose I have paid the taxes extra. Let's say I have to pay rupees 1 lakh, but wrongly I have paid 10 lakh rupees by utilizing the ITC. So what happened? And at a later stage, I found that yes, I have made the excess payment of the tax of rupees 9 lakh. Now, when I apply the refund application, this 9 lakh would be credited to my to my bank account. The problem is now you try to understand that you made the payment through ITC, but they have converted into the cash. They have given the refund in the bank. That is not permissible now. Now they are saying in these cases, what is the mode of payment of taxes? If you use the ITC, we'll give the refund by crediting the ITC. If you have used the cash ledger, we will give the refund in the bank account. They are saying refund to be granted in cash and credit based on the original mode of payment. The refund of the taxes shall be made proportionately in cash and by crediting the credit based on the original mode of payment. The amount refundable in cash shall be paid by issuance of order in the prescribed form, and amount attributable to the credit will be recredited in the electronic credit ledger. So the form number is not in your syllabus, but for your information only, the PMT03 would be issued to recrediting the amount in the bank account, recrediting the amount in the ITC ledger, and PMT06 would be issued for making the payment. Upon satisfaction, the refund is due and payable, the proper officer make a refund order in the prescribed form. The amount of the refund to be paid in cash, that is we have discussed. Okay? Any question so far? कोई doubt? Any doubt? Any question? कोई भी doubt या कोई भी question है? Kindly ask. We'll discuss. And just wait for a minute. Just wait for some minute. It will come. Exemption of unjust enrichment. So we have talked about unjust enrichment ka exemption हमने exception. Correct na? Exception we have already talked about. So further neither a declaration or nor required. In which case? In the following case. So let me find now. Kaushik, is it okay? So where the proper officer is satisfied that the amount refundable under rule is payable to the applicant instead of being credited to the consumer welfare fund, then he will make an order, refund order in prescribed form and issue the payment order for the amount of the refund. Amount of the refund shall be electronically credited to the bank account of the applicant mentioned in the registration. The refund order issued in the prescribed form shall not be required to be revalidated by the proper officer. However, the payment order shall be required to be revalidated where the refund has not been disbursed within the same financial year in which the payment order was issued. So payment order, correct. So after the payment order, they will recredit the amount. They will credit the amount in your bank account. So the payment order would be the stage, and after that they will credit the payment. And they are saying if the payment order, suppose they have already issued, and now the refund has not been disbursed in the same financial year, then payment order required to be revalidated. Correct. If the refund order shall not be required to be revalidated by the proper officer normally, but if the refund is not being given in the same year, then it will be revalidated. Where the proper officer is satisfied that amount refundable under Rule 92 is not payable to the applicant, then it will be credited to the Consumer Welfare Fund. Correct? So time limit for issuance of the refund order. What is the time limit to issue the refund order? The refund order shall be issued within 60 days from the date of the receipt of application. The time limit of 60 days shall be counted from the date of the filing of the claim for the refund as mentioned in the acknowledgement. Now, issuance of the so-cause notice, what we have discussed right till now. So we have to file the application in which form? Please confirm. Let me recap the 1 hour discussion, just 3 to 4 minutes. Let me try to recap. What was the form number to file the refund application? Can you please quickly tell me what was the form number to file the refund application? Answer is RFD1. Next question, that can you please tell me which is the category of refund where there is no requirement of refund application? In which category of the refund there is no requirement of refund application? Please quickly tell me. No, different. Kaushiki, it is the different. Refund order and payment order are different. In which case the refund application is not required? In which case of the refund application is not required? The right answer is export of goods on payment of IGST. Please tell me, we have discussed one category. What is the name of the category wherein the rate of the input is higher than the rate of the input, than the rate of the output? Then you can apply for the refund of accumulated ITC. Can you please tell me the name of the categories of the refund where the refund is permissible of accumulated ITC if the rate on input is higher than the rate of outward supplies? What is the name? The name is, the right answer is inverted duty structure. Inverted duty structure. Please tell me, if I'm exporting the goods on IGST, what is the biggest advantage? If I'm exporting the goods or services on payment of IGST, if I'm exporting the goods or services on payment of IGST, what is the biggest advantage? What is the biggest advantage? The answer is first, if it is a case of the goods, no refund application. And second, if it is a case of services or even goods also, then I can use my ITC of capital goods, and in turn I can take the refund of entire taxes paid. Please tell me, next question, please tell me, if I am exporting the goods or services against LUT, which categories I can apply for the refund? मुझे किसका refund मिलेगा? Input service or capital goods? In which case, in case of export or supply to the SEZ on LUT, then which are the eligible things I can get the refund? Input service or capital goods? If I am making the zero rated supplies against LUT, then I would be entitled for the refund on account of input and input service. The refund of capital goods is not permissible. Next question to all of you, and this is my last question. Next question to all of you, that Next question to all of you, that please tell me amount if exceed with some limit is there, then I have to provide the documentary evidence. If the refund is in excess of so much of the amount, I have to provide the documentary evidence. Please tell me the limit or amount. If refund is exceeding by that amount, you have to provide the documentary evidence. The answer is 2 lakh. Answer is 2 lakh. Ashokji, are you there? Ashokji, are you there? Take a break of only 5 minutes. We are taking the break of only 5 minutes. We will resume at 7:05. ठीक है? Rule 92 sub rule 3, issue of so-cause notice and rejection of the refund claim. In case the claim is rejected by the officer, notice is to be given online and applicant need to be respond within 15 days. Thus, no claim can be rejected without putting the applicant to the notice. So that is a basically natural justice, that whenever the refund is being rejected or whenever any adverse action taken against the taxpayer, always opportunity of the being heard has to be given. Okay. So the said order shall be made available to the applicant electronically, and the proviso to the rule 92 sub rule 1 relating to the order sanctioning the refund shall apply. Okay. Withholding of the refund claim. If the order is giving rise to the refund is the subject matter of appeal or further proceeding, or where any other proceeding under this act is pending, and the commissioner is of the opinion that grant of the refund is likely to adverse affect the revenue. Revenue means department, government. Then the refund can be withheld. The detailed proviso are as under. This is the rule 92 sub rule 10 that stipulate that where the proper officer is of the opinion that the amount of the refund is liable to be withheld under 5410 or 5411, he may pass an order informing the applicant for reason of withholding that refund. So correct that you can, I am not reading the entire language. However, where the refund is withheld and the taxable person shall be entitled to the interest at the rate of 6% per annum. Now, crediting the amount of rejected refund claim where any deficiency in refund memo has been communicated as discussed earlier, the amount earlier decided shall be recredited to the electronic credit ledger. Where any amount claimed as refund is rejected, either fully or partially, the amount debited to the extent of rejection shall be recredited to the credit ledger. What does it mean? When I am making the, try to understand, when I'm making the refund application, then the amount of the refund, let's say I'm applying the refund of rupees 1 lakh from accumulated ITC. So when I will apply the refund, then the amount of rupees 1 lakh would be debited to my electronic credit ledger. And that application is got rejected by the officer. On rejection, the 1 lakh rupees which is debited for my credit ledger, it will be recredited that amount. If that could not be the case, then it will be the loss to me, right? So if in case the refund is rejected, then they will credit my electronic credit ledger by the amount which is being debited at the time of refund application. For the purpose of this rule, refund shall be deemed to be rejected if the appeal is finally rejected, or if the claimant given undertaking in writing that he will not file the appeal. The principle of unjust enrichment we have already discussed. Okay. So that 2 lakh rupees cases where the unjust enrichment is inapplicable, section 54 subsection 8, the refund of the taxes paid on export of goods or services or both, or an input or input service used in making such export. A refund of unutilized ITC in case of the zero rated supplies. Please make difference. Please make difference that here they are talking about only export, but here they are talking about zero rated supplies. Please quickly tell me what is the difference between these two categories. Is there any difference between zero rated supplies and export? Is there any difference between zero rated supplies and export? The answer is zero rated supply will include the supply of goods or services to the SEZ unit. But export, it means only export. So zero rated is export plus SEZ. So in the clause A, they are talking about refund of taxes paid of export. But here they are talking about unutilized ITC for zero rated supplies. Or you can take the refund of ITC on account of the inverted duty, correct? Refund of the taxes paid on a supply which is not provided either fully or partially and for which the invoice has not been issued. It means advance. So I have received the advance, but I have not given the supply. Then where a refund voucher has been issued. So we will talk about what is the different type of the document. I hope that chapter is yet to be completed, or I hope, it has already been completed. I don't know. So what is the refund voucher? If I have received the advance, I need to give the advance voucher. And suppose I have not given the supply, and that advance I have to return the same to the applicant. In that case, the document would be the refund voucher, and I can apply for the GST on the refund voucher. Refund of the taxes in section 77 and tax and interest, if any, or any other amount paid by the applicant if had not passed the incidence of the tax or interest borne by such other class of the applicant as may be notified. Okay. So disbursement of the refund of state tax. The government may disperse the refund of the state tax in such manner as may be prescribed. Okay. Refund amount to be credited to the consumer welfare fund in all other cases. We have also discussed this point. Now, important point which we are starting, refund of unutilized ITC. A refund of unutilized ITC. First point, keep into mind that, okay, let me ask the question to all of you. Situation number 1, if Mr. A was doing the business and he has expired due to the COVID. Now his son Mr. B like to continue that business. Whether ITC lying in the GST registration of Mr. A will be refunded or not. Situation number 2, Mr. A expire and Mr. B, who is son, like to stop that business, close the business, whether ITC would be refunded. Third, the business of Mr. A has been transferred on a going concern basis to Mr. X, whether he can take the refund of accumulated ITC. Fourth, let's say there is a Mr. A, there is a huge purchase, but there is no sale because of the COVID. Can he take the refund of accumulated ITC? This is my question. In 4 scenario, in which case the applicant can apply for the refund of accumulated ITC? This is my question. In which case the refund of ITC would be permissible? This is my question to all of you. Answer is in none of the case, the ITC would be refunded. Always remember that refund of accumulated ITC is permissible in only 2 scenarios. Section 54 subsection 3 says that refund of ITC is permissible only in 2 cases. If you are making the zero rated supplies, that is export and SEZ, zero rated supplies against LUT, against letter of undertaking, and second is inverted duty structure. Apart from these 2 cases, there is no case in which ITC would be refunded. Always remember that refund of accumulated ITC is being granted, is possible to apply for the refund only in 2 scenarios. The scenario number 1, zero rated supplies made against LUT, and second is inverted duty structure. Here you are entitled to take the refund of input as well as input service. But in case of the inverted duty, you can apply for the refund of only input. It means the capital goods is not permitted in both the scenario, but yes, in the scenario number 1, input service is permitted. Input service is permitted, but here input service is not permitted. So let me, this time I will explain in some, means altogether different manner. Now, in case of the inverted duty, they are saying that yes, we will give the refund of inverted duty, but they have power, government has the power to give the notification wherein they can block the refund of accumulated ITC even if there are inverted duty. Let me repeat once again, even though there is inverted duty, but government has the power to block the refund. That even though there is a inverted duty, but the refund would not be granted. What are the cases? For goods and for services. For goods, they are saying rail locomotive product. Okay. Initially, there was a fabric, but yes, after July 18, the fabric was omitted from there. But as of now, there is a rail locomotive product in which refund would not be granted if inverted duty are there. Certain more new product has been added. That is okay. In case of the services, only this category are under block category. My request to everyone, please tell me what is the nature of the transaction in the schedule 2 para 5 clause B. My question to all of you, what is the activity which is being specified in the schedule 2 para 5 clause B? The answer is schedule 2 para 5 clause B is talking about construction services. Suppose, let's say Mr. A is a contractor providing the construction services, wherein he is purchasing the cement at the rate of 28%. He is making the supply, outward supply is 18%. We have already discussed that outward supplies can be goods or can be services. There is no issue. But on the basis of the goods, on the basis of the input, we will decide whether there is an inversion or not. Thank you, Shivam. Great. So in this case, they are saying the schedule 2 para 5 clause B, even though there is inverted duty, but no refund would be allowed. So in case of the construction services, construction of the complex building, civil structure or part thereof, intended to sell to the buyer, whether wholly or partly, that we have discussed, that you have read or you remember schedule 2 para 5 clause B. In that, the refund would be permitted. Refund would be permitted. No refund under inverted duty. Correct. So these are the category of the goods and these are the category of the services. Even though there is inverted duty, but no refund would be granted. Let me talk about the latest situation with respect to the railway product. This rail locomotive is still, it is given in the notification. In current date also, it is given in the notification of the block category. You will not be allowed to take the refund. But let me talk about that government. See, earlier what happened, the rate on input was 18% and the rate on output was 12%. Correct. So it was under inverted duty. Only for your knowledge purpose, I am telling you. Only for your knowledge purpose, I am telling you, the government has increased the rate on railway related product from 12 to 18%. So as a result, now there is no inverted duty actually in case of the rail locomotive product, but however, it is still lying in the block categories. Section 18(3) transfer of the ITC, permissible. That is absolutely permissible. You can transfer the ITC, but my question, can you take the refund? That answer is no. ITC ka transfer is allowable. For example, Mr. A has huge purchase but less sale. He can carry forward the ITC for a longer period, for indefinite period, till the time registration is active, he can carry forward. But my question, can he take the refund on the expiry, on the transfer of the business, on the closure of the business? Can he take the refund? That answer was no. But your Mansa, your point is absolutely correct. 18 subsection 3 permit that in case of the merger, amalgamation, demerger, including death of the proprietor, you can transfer the ITC through ITC 02 forms. Absolutely correct. Okay. Application is RFD 01. Time limit is 2 years from the relevant date. Doctrine of unjust enrichment we have discussed. Now read the formula. This is the formula for the refund amount. Currently, which we are talking about, zero rated supplies. Rule 89 sub rule 4. It says that zero rated supplies of the goods or services without payment of tax under bond or letter of undertaking, they are entitled to take the refund as per the following formula. Turnover of zero rated supplies of the goods plus turnover of zero rated supply service. That is also one of the important points why they have bifurcated. Why they have not clubbed that zero rated supplies of the goods and services. No, they are saying separately turnover of goods and they are saying separately turnover of services. Please note this formula. We are going to spend good time and it may take some time to understand also. If you have any question, you are requested to ask immediately, no problem. The point is, this is different meaning turnover of zero rated supplies of the goods or turnover of zero rated supplies of the services divided by adjusted total turnover multiplied by net ITC. Okay. First, what is the meaning of net ITC? Net ITC means input and input service. We have also discussed that in case zero rated supplies made against LUT, we are entitled to take the refund of input and input service. Correct? So, except 4A, 4B. Now, you will find everywhere except 4A, 4B. Why it is being so? So, they are saying in the net ITC calculation, you will take the ITC of input, you will take the ITC of input service, but you will exclude the ITC of 4A, 4B. When you see the formula of turn or detail of turnover of zero rated supplies of the goods, it also saying that exclude other than 4A, 4B. Why? Why? Try to understand that 4A and 4B, rule 89 sub rule 4A, rule 89 sub rule 4B. They are talking about the 4 transaction. Which transaction? Say, let's say Mr. A is exporter. He is entitled to claim the refund. But he will, when he calculating his net ITC, he will not take the ITC of 4A and 4B. Also, he will not include the turnover of 4A or 4B both. What is that turnover or what is the 4A, 4B? The 4A and 4B, let me read the language. '89 4A stipulate that in case of the supply received, they are not talking about supply, outward supply. No, they are talking about a supply received on which the supplier has availed the benefit of the deemed export. Okay, refund of ITC availed in respect of other input and input service used in making zero rated supplies of the goods shall be granted. 89 4B talks about where the person claiming the, let me talk about 89 4A once again, that stipulate that in case of the supply received on which supplier has the availed the benefit of the deemed export, that is refund of ITC, availed in respect of other input and input service used in making zero rated shall be granted. Correct? Okay. So 89 4A in case of the deemed export, that will be excluded. What is the 89 4B? They are saying if the supplier has received the supply on which the benefit of merchant exporter on the basis of the merchant exporter. You know that suppose if Mr. A is a merchant exporter, then he can purchase the goods at the rate of 0.1% only. He can purchase the goods by paying the tax of 1%. And there is a two custom notification. There is two custom notification which talk about that if the benefit of the exemption from IGST and compensation cess in respect of the goods imported by EOU or for the goods imported against advance authorization or EPCG license, and they are exporting, they are availing the or they are making the export. In that case, these ITC of 4A or 4B on which substantial benefit has been taken, either there is no IGST or no GST, or there's a small GST of 0.1%, or the deemed export ka benefit has been taken. In all such cases, if these ITC are there, we will exclude these ITC. We will exclude these ITC in calculation of turnover of zero rated supplies of the goods. We will exclude these ITC from net ITC also. What is the purpose of exclusion? Will the refund would not be granted? No, sir. Refund would be granted. There is no problem. The only point they are saying, you have to make a refund under separate category. You have to make a refund under separate category. You cannot club the refund under the normal category because of the 4A and 4B. Now, every definition is important. Turnover of zero rated supplies of the goods. What is the meaning of turnover of zero rated supplies of the goods? Means the zero rated supplies made during the relevant financial year without payment of tax under bond or letter of undertaking. Now, this is again newly inserted. It was not there since beginning. It was inserted later on. They are limiting the upper cap of zero rated supplies of the goods. They are limiting the upper cap of zero rated supplies of the goods. What is the upper cap? 1.5 times of the value of like goods domestically supplied either by same supplier or similarly placed supplier as declared by the supplier. See, if I am, let's say, I am exporting the product X at, let's say, 1,000 rupees per piece. But in the domestic market, I am supplying these product at the rate of rupees 400 per box or per piece. Repeating once again, I am exporting the goods at 1,000 rupees per box or per piece. The same product domestically I am supplying at 400 rupees per piece. Now I can say my export turnover of the zero rated supplies of the goods would be not 1,000. It would be 1.5 times of 400. It means maximum export value would be 600 per piece. Let's say I have exported 10 pieces, then my export turnover would be 6,000. Is it clear? एक बार confirm करें. Please confirm. Is it clear? These two things are clear or not? Net ITC and turnover of zero rated supplies of the goods. Kindly confirm these two are clear or not. Now, turnover of zero rated supplies of the service, it is drastically changed. Why it is drastically changed? So it is not on the basis of invoice. Now it is payment centric. What is that meaning? See, you will include the supply for which payment has been received. So what is the relevant date in case of the export of services? We are looking the invoice or the payment, whichever is later, correct? Invoice or payment, whichever is later. Almost same concept is being applied here. Invoice or payment, whichever is later. Same concept is being applied here. So if I have exported, suppose services. I'm talking about zero rated supply of service only. Means the value is calculated in the following manner. They are saying aggregate of the payment received during the relevant period. So please note, you will not calculate according to the tax invoice. You will not calculate, but you will calculate according to the payment received during the tax period for which you are applying the refund. See, those payment for which supply has been completed and payment has been received. Let me repeat again. Suppose you have received $10,000. You have received $10,000. Out of 10,000, $5,000 you have already issued the invoice in advance. Earlier, the service is completed, invoice has already been issued, but the payment is being received now. We are calculating for the Feb. Let's say invoice is being issued in December 22. This you will take plus 3,000 is the advance. 3,000 is the advance for which supply is yet to be made. For which the supply is yet to be made. This you will not take. Invoice or payment, whichever is later, you will club that. Invoice or payment, whichever is later, you will add that, and this amount would be called as zero rated supply of the service. In the current month, there is a $10,000 receipt, out of which 5,000 I have already issued the invoice earlier, but payment is being received in the current month. Please take this as an export of service. Also, the 3,000 amount is being advanced. Please remove. 2,000 rupees, $2,000 is the receipt for the current month invoices. Issued the invoice in the current month and also received the amount in the current month. Please take that. Plus, try to understand this. Add such invoices for which you have received the advance in the earlier tax period. Let's say in the month of November, I have received $2,500 for which I have completed the service and invoice is being issued in Feb. You will add the amount of 2,500 in the current month. So what is the export of service in this month? I can say 5,000 plus 2,000 plus 2,500. So I can say 5,427 or $9,500 multiplied by the rate of exchange जो भी है. But this would be the zero rated supply of service. I can say invoice or payment, whichever is later in that month, it will be counted. I hope it is clear. Shivam, yes. People are unnecessary inflating the export by any cook, hook and cook. They were trying to export bogus export, and as a result they are getting the higher refund. So that is the reason they are saying the upper cap has been fixed. This is clear. Yes, supply is mandatory, amount is mandatory, receipt is mandatory, and they are saying whichever is later in that period, it will be counted the value. It will be counted the export for the purpose of refund. Clear? एक बार confirm करें. Everyone, please confirm. Is it clear? Invoice or payment, whichever is later. Absolutely correct. Now we have discussed the zero rated supplies of the goods, zero rated supply of the service. Now we are reading the adjusted total turnover. You will add the turnover as defined in section 2 clause 112, that is turnover in the state of duty, plus you will add the zero rated supplies of the services that is being excluded from here, but added here. Why it is being added here? Why it is being separately added? Because they are saying turnover of zero rated supply, you will not take on the basis of the invoices only. You will take according to the clause D as above. Meaning thereby, they like to say export of service would be invoice or payment, whichever is later. On the same concept, you will add this in the adjusted total turnover. Now, exclude value of the exempt supplies. Can anybody tell me why exempt? If I have the exempt supplies, is there any impact on ITC? If I have some exempt supply, is there any impact on input tax credit? Answer is yes. According to 17 subsection 2, read with rule 40 to 43, I have to reverse proportionate ITC. Correct. And then 4A, 4B will again be excluded from adjusted total turnover, from zero rated turnover, from net ITC also. Ultimately, everywhere the impact of the 4A and 4B has been excluded. And why excluded? Because you have to apply the refund separately. Correct. Now, relevant period, that is okay. So we have discussed. Now we are not talking about too much. 1.5 times. Now, one thing they are saying, see, one thing is being clarified in the circular 147. What is being clarified in the circular 140, this particular circular, which I have highlighted, they are saying turnover of zero rated supplies of the goods. Let's say my actual turnover of export is, let's say, 1,000 rupees per box into 10. So actual is 10,000 rupees. Actual is 10,000. But because of the clause C, I am taking only 6,000. Correct? Why 6,000? Because domestically I am making the supply at 400 into 1.5 times, so 600, and total 10 boxes. So upper limit is being fixed at 6,000 rupees. Now the question is, here you will take 6,000. Turnover of zero rated supplies of the goods, you will take 6,000. Then the question which is being asked and clarified in the circular 147, that what amount I will take for zero adjusted total turnover. Because what is the adjusted total turnover? Domestic turnover plus export of the goods plus export of services. So question is being raised that in this calculation, will I add entire 10,000, or here also I will take 6,000? Because if I will take entire 10,000, my refund would be reduced. Because in the top I am taking 6,000, but in the bottom I'm taking 10,000. So they are saying whatever the amount you are calculating, or whatever the amount you are putting here, the same would be taken for calculating the adjusted total turnover. So in this example, if my zero rated supply the goods, which is being reduced to 6,000, then the 6,000 would be added in the adjusted total turnover instead of 10,000. So that would be the apple to apple comparison instead of, otherwise it would be the loss of the refund to the taxpayer. I hope it is clear. The bottom denominator and numerator are same. The denominator and numerator are same. Clear hai yahan tak? Please confirm. So I can move to the 89.5. I can move to the 89.5. Please confirm. Is it clear? 89.5. Now we are moving to the inverted duty structure and refund. Refund under inverted duty structure. One quick question to all of you. Value of the goods exported is same. See, same as per section 15, that is the transaction value. But here they are saying subject to the limit of 1.5 times. My transaction value is 10,000. There is no denial to the fact, because I have raised the invoice of 10,000. Let's say I'm receiving the amount in the foreign currency, that is 10,000. But the problem is that they are saying maximum 1.5 times. So then the value can be different. Otherwise, it will be according to section 15. Shivam, please confirm. Is it clear? Is it clear? I'm coming to the question of we have to ignore FOB value, right? So you have to compare whichever is lower. You have to compare, and whichever is lower, that you have to take. Suppose if it is not, suppose 1.5 time is higher, then you have to take the FOB value. Then you have to take the FOB value. Now, Kaushiki has asked the question, why exempted turnover is being excluded? I'm not clear. If I have the exempted supplies, I'm assuming domestically, because if I have exempt supply of export, I can take the ITC or not take the ITC. One question to all of you, if I am exporting the exempted items, would I be entitled to take the ITC or would I not be entitled to take the ITC? This is my question to all of you. Answer is I would be entitled to take the ITC. According to 16 subsection 2 of IGST Act, according to 16 subsection 2 of IGST Act, it says that if you are exporting, then you can take the ITC irrespective of the fact whether item is exempted. So here, why I have excluded, assuming I have the exempted supplies. Then in the input tax credit, there is a separate concept of section 17 subsection 2, which talks about if I have the two category of the supply, exempted and taxable, then I have to reverse my proportionate ITC as per the rule 42 for input and input service, and as per the rule 43 for capital goods. So because I have to reverse my ITC, I am not entitled to take the refund to the extent of exempted. That is the reason in the net ITC, there would be no ITC on account of exempt, and therefore in the turnover, you are also removing the exempted turnover. So apple to apple comparison. Is it clear? Is it clear? एक बार कंफर्म करें मैडम. ठीक है ना? Give me 1 minute. I'll open the amendment part so that I can. So I have opened that amendment which is applicable to May 23. So supplementary material. Let me share the screen of supplementary material. So this is supplementary material. I'm using the particular formula of 89. I'm using the particular page in which the amended rule 89.5 has been given. But first see that there is one new explanation is being added in the 89.4. That the FOB value declared in the shipping bill or bill of export as per the shipping bill or the value declared in the tax invoice or bill of supply, whichever is lower, that you will take the value of the goods exported out of India. Meaning thereby, let's say I have exported on CIF basis. I have exported on CIF basis. Cost, insurance, freight, everything is being included. Let's say FOB value is 8,000. 1,000 is the insurance and 1,000 is the freight. I'm charging 10,000. So my invoice value would be 10,000. But what could be the what was the FOB value? 8,000. So here I can say 8,000 or 10,000, whichever is lower, I will take that value of goods exported out of India. Now, please note, because of this explanation, my refund amount would get reduced. Exempt supply include both goods and services as per the CGST and IGST. It would be exactly similar. There would be no difference. So I will take the key means CGST, it will be, but there would be no difference in CGST and IGST. Additionally, only interstate supply, the exemption would be given under IGST, but I have to take care both. I have to take care entire exempt supply. For the purpose of this formula, I would say that there would be no difference. Because export of exempted item, we are entitled to take the ITC. So basically they are talking about the domestic transaction only. The domestic which are exempted, correct? So you can consider any one. So now this become important that FOB or CIF, whichever is lower, you will take that amount. Okay. Now rule 89 sub rule 5, what is the changes? Rule 89 sub rule 5, what is the changes? Yes. Insertion is prospective, right? From the day from when it has been inserted, the day when it has been inserted, from that it is the restriction. In case of refund on account of the inverted duty, refund of ITC shall be granted as per the following formula. Now see, earlier there was some other formula, and now they have amended this formula. And why they have amended? Only for your understanding, I am telling you, in case of the VKC footsteps, judgment given by the Supreme Court, they are saying there is some anomaly in the formula. They have given the direction to check the formula. And after that, this formula was amended. And because of the amendment, refund amount got increased. Refund amount got increased. What is the formula? Let's try to understand. We are talking about the refund of inverted duty. It means, let's say rate on the input is 18% and the rate on the output is 12%. Correct. Now, there would be some tax rate. There would be some tax rate on output supplies. I do agree that would be lower compared to my input. So the first part, they are calculating the ITC to the turnover of inverted rated supplies. And in the second part, they are reducing the tax payable on the inverted duty. And almost it will comes to 6%, and which you are entitled to take the refund. It is not so easy. Prima facie, I can say my rate on input is 18 and my rate on outward is, let's say, 12. So how much would I entitle? Answer is 6%. But when you apply the same, when you write the same in the formula, it is slightly difficult. So we'll try to understand, and this is important. So you have to also understand why the formula and what is the reason the formula was changed. See, turnover of inverted rated supplies of the goods and services. Perfect. Multiplied by net ITC and divided by adjusted total turnover. Okay. Let's say my total turnover was 10 lakh, out of which inverted rated turnover was 4 lakh. Okay. And my total ITC is of 10,000. So you can say the 4,000 is the ITC. You can add one more zero. So please add one more zero so that there would be some amount of refund. So you can say 40,000 is the ITC, which is belongs to your turnover of inverted dated supplies. This 1 lakh would only of input. Please note that this 1 lakh would only of input. Would you be entitled to take the refund of entire 40,000? Answer is no. Why no? Because there is some tax liability which I have to reduce. Perfect. No problem. Reduce the tax liability. Let's say the rate was 5%. On inverted rated supplies, the rate was 5%. So what is the amount? 20,000 amount would come. 20,000 amount would come. So you are entitled to take the refund of 20,000. This was earlier. Now they are saying you should not reduce entire 20,000. Please apply one formula. What is the formula? Let's say this particular refund is pertaining to month of January. Let's say this refund pertaining to the month of January. In the month of January, what I have did, the 1 lakh ITC is on account of input. In the month of January GSTR 3B, there is a 1 lakh ITC on account of input and 1 lakh ITC on account of input service. The total ITC which I have claimed in GSTR 3B, that was 2 lakh. But in the formula, as we know, we are entitled to take the refund of only input. So I have given only 1 lakh. Perfect. But now as per the revised formula, they are saying, please do not reduce entire 20,000. What to do? This would be proportionated. How it would be proportionated? They are saying multiplied by the ITC on account of input divided by input plus input service. It means 20,000 multiplied by 1 lakh divided by 2 lakh means the amount which I will reduce, it would be 10,000. First, tell me that the calculation is clear or not. Then I will explain why this changes was made. You have to confirm me whether calculation is clear or not, and then I will explain why this amendment or why this changes was made and what is the requirement to make these changes. That I will explain. Please confirm that calculation is clear or not. Is it clear? Fine, fine. I'll repeat once again. I'll repeat once again. But this time I will repeat in Hindi. This time I will repeat in Hindi so you will understand by both. मान लीजिए मेरा ये मंथ है जनवरी मंथ, इस मंथ में 1 लाख ITC on account of input and 1 lakh ITC on account of input service. Total ITC was 2 lakh. But as we know कि इन्वर्टेड ड्यूटी स्ट्रक्चर के केस में जो नेट आईटीसी होती है जिसका मुझे रिफंड लेना वो सिर्फ इनपुट का मिलेगा. तो मैंने यहां पे 1 लाख रुपए लिखा. इन्वर्टेड डेटेड टर्नओवर ऑफ इन्वर्टेड डेटेड सप्लाईज 4 लाख, एडजस्टेड टोटल टर्नओवर 10 लाख मल्टीप्लाइड बाई 1 लाख नेट आईटीसी. तो ये अमाउंट बना 40,000. पहले क्या था? पहले फॉर्मूला यहां पे खत्म हो जाता था. पहले फॉर्मूला यहां पे खत्म हो जाता था तो हम क्या करते थे? 40 - 20 करते थे और हम कहते कि 20,000 का रिफंड मिलेगा. लेकिन अब क्या कह रहे हैं वो कि पूरा 20 मत माइनस करो, इस 20 को भी आप प्रोपोर्शनेट करो. किससे? कि कितना आईटीसी गुड्स का है और कितना आईटीसी गुड्स प्लस सर्विस का है. तो मतलब अब एक बात देखिए, अगर डिनोमिनेटर में हायर अमाउंट और न्यूमरेटर में मैं ज्यादा अमाउंट, डिनोमिनेटर में लोअर अमाउंट और न्यूमरेटर में मैं ज्यादा अमाउंट लूंगा तो जो रिजल्ट आएगा वो तो कम आएगा ना. सी हियर आई एम टेकिंग 1 lakh on account of input and 2 lakh divided by 2 lakh, that is input and input service. So proportionate क्या हुआ? 10,000 आया. अब रिफंड कितना बन गया? 30,000. पहले कितना बनता था 20, अब नाउ 30. I hope it is clear, Shivam, and every participant kindly confirm now. Is it clear? Calculation is clear or not? एक बार वापस कंफर्म करें so that I can move to the next part. ठीक है. So why it has been changed? Because they are saying that in the calculation you are allowed to take the refund of only input, that is okay. But if you are reducing the entire tax liability, it means somehow you are saying that you can take the refund of input. Also, you can pay the taxes through input only. You can pay the taxes through input only. But if you read the section 49, read with rule 88A, 4949A, 49B, 88A, circular 98. Sir, there is nowhere restriction that I cannot use my ITC on account of input service for discharging the tax liability. They are saying there is no restriction for discharging the tax liability. And what I am doing here earlier, if my formula is completed till here, it means I am discharging my entire tax liability through only input, which was not correct. Then formula was amended that we will assume that tax liability was also used or also paid in the same proportion. Tax liability was also paid in the same proportion, ITC of input versus input service. I hope it is clear. We have to move a bit faster so that we can complete the chapter also. This was the formula. I hope everything is clear. So you can see that it is the earlier formula, and here now what is being added? Net ITC divided by ITC of input and input service. क्लियर है ना? थैंक यू यार, थैंक यू बेटा, थैंक यू सो मच. मैं ये एक्सप्लेनेशन और फॉर्मूला नहीं पढ़ता हूं, जो भी मैंने आपको एक क्रक्स में एक्सप्लेन कर दिया. रिफंड ऑफ आईटीसी अंडर सेक्शन 54(3) restricted to the extent of GST are 2A. So that is correct. हाँ, yes. Read this. कि when you apply for the refund, ठीक है, then refund amount would be lower of below 3. So whenever I am applying the refund, in which category? Export without payment of tax, X supplies made to SEZ unit or developer, or inverted duty. I am taking the refund of ITC, then the refund amount would be lower of below 3. What is the 3? First, maximum refund amount as per the formula. Second, let's say I am applying the refund for the month of the Jan. Let's say I am applying the refund for the month of the Jan on 28 Feb. Repeating once again, I am applying the refund of Jan for the month of Jan, and date of application is 28 Feb. They are saying the balance in electronic credit ledger at the end of tax period for which refund is being filed, that is closing balance of input tax credit for the month of the Jan till the Jan, and then they will also take the balance at the time of application, that is 28 Feb. The refund would be lower of below 3. First, they will take the maximum refund amount as per the formula. They will take the refund. They will take the balance of input tax credit at the end of the tax period and the balance of electronic credit ledger on the date of application, whichever is lower. Now, after that, there is one next important thing, that after calculating the list of the 3, the equivalent amount will be debited to the ECL, electronic credit ledger. So that is the point we have discussed now. Once I will apply, it will be debited to my credit ledger. Okay. And the amount would get credited into your bank account. Suppose if the refund is rejected, whatever it has been debited, it will be recredited. That we have discussed earlier. Now, the debit would also have some order. So debit would also have some order. What is the order? That first they will debit the amount in the IGST to the extent balance available. So whatever the refund amount, let's say in my inverted duty example, the refund was 30,000. Then 30,000 would be debited to IGST if there is a balance. Then CGST and SGST equally to the extent of balance available in the shortfall. In the event of the shortfall in the balance available, say central tax, the differential amount to be debited from the other electronic credit ledger. Say if I have the short balance in the CGST, then differential would be debited to the SGST. This would be the order. Again, in the inverted duty, they are saying you were not allowed to take the refund of inverted duty if the goods which has been exported, not inverted duty, refund of accumulated ITC, not inverted duty for both ITC. In case of the refund of accumulated ITC, there is some restriction that if goods exported is subject to the export duty and if there is some drawback available in respect of CGST or IGST. It means if there is a drawback of SGST, then there is no problem. If there is a drawback of CGST or there is drawback of IGST, then there is a problem. What is the problem? I cannot take the refund of accumulated ITC. Minimum refund claim, if the amount is less than 1,000 rupees, then no refund would be granted, would not apply in case of the refund of excess balance. Further, this limit would not apply in case of the refund of excess cash ledger. Export, we have discussed that there are two routes. Let's take a break of again 5 minutes. Ashokji, please again start the break and we will resume at 8. Talking about refund in case of the goods or service export out of India, and that is if I have exported out of India and if it is a goods, then the rule 96 will come into the picture, and there is no refund application required if it is export of goods on payment of IGST, because shipping bill would be treated as refund application. Correct. So the applicant has furnished the valid return. Processing of the refund claim upon the receipt of the information regarding the furnishing of valid return, IceGate system designated by the custom shall process the refund claim in respect of export of the goods. Amount equal to the IGST paid in respect of each shipping bill or bill of export shall be electronically credited to the bank account of the applicant mentioned in this registration particular. Withholding the refund, that we have already read section 54 subsection 10 or 11. If the tax officer is of the view that agar the refund would be granted, it will be adversely affect the revenue, they can withhold the amount. Okay. A refund to the government of the Bhutan on the exporter to Bhutan. Yes, in this case, what they are saying, the central government may pay the refund of IGST to the government of Bhutan on the export to Bhutan for such class of the goods as may be notified. So in this case, they are saying we will not give the refund to the exporter, we will give the refund to the Bhutan government directly. And where the refund is being given to the Bhutan government, the exporter will not be entitled to take refund. Clarification on whether the refund claim can be preferred in respect to the goods sent or taken out of India but not brought back. So they are saying if I am sending the goods on sample basis to out of India or exhibition purpose to out of India, is it a supply? They are saying if the amount is there is no amount, correct? It is free of cost. Then again it is not a supply. So it is not a zero rated supply at all. You can move the goods. You can move the goods on the basis of delivery challan. But yes, the supply would be deemed to have taken place when on the date expiry of the 6th month from the date of the removal, if the goods are neither sold or not brought back or the date of the sale. You remember that there is a provision section 31 subsection 7. What is that? Section 31 subsection 7 says that I can send the goods on approval. I can move the goods on approval. And what is the maximum time limit? If the goods come back within a period of 6 months or it is being sold within a period of 6 months, then that is okay. Otherwise, after the expiry of the 6 months, it will be deemed to be supplied. And the same point they have highlighted. If you sending the goods to out of India for exhibition purpose, it will be treated that you have sent the goods on the basis of approval. No problem. On the date of the transfer, there is no liability. But if the goods are not coming back within a period of 6 months or are not sold within a period of 6 months, then after the expiry of 6 months, it will be deemed to be supplied. And in that case, it will be treated as sold and you have to pay the GST. Or they are saying you can again transfer the goods without execution of bond or letter of undertaking. And further, you can entitle to take the refund subject to the condition given in the rule 89. So you can read the example. Situation are simple. The refund application in case of the exporter service RFD 01. Again, rule 96A, we have already discussed that accumulated ITC ka refund. If I'm sending the goods to out of India, if I'm supplying the goods to out of India or supplying to the SEZ or services against rule 96A, it means LUT. Then 96B, we have also talked about if the amount is not being realized, this is only with respect to goods. If I have already taken the refund and the amount is not realized within the time specified in the FEMA, then on the expiry, I have to pay back the amount along with interest. However, this requirement would not be there if RBI write off the requirement of such realization on merit. Now, refund to UN bodies, embassies, or section 55 read with 54(2) of the CGST Act. Now, what is the UN bodies or embassies? These entities or these would have the UIN number, unique identity number. Section 55 says that government may, on the recommendation of the council by notification, specify any specialized agency of the United Nations, any multilateral financial institution, United Nations Privilege and Immunization Act, consulate, foreign embassies, or any other class of the person as may be specified. They are entitled to take the refund of taxes paid on inward supply. Why not outward? Because we know their outward supply is not taxable. Their outward supply is not taxable. And one more important thing, if you read the definition of registered person, it will not include UIN. It means if one has the UIN number, it is not treated as registered person. Correct? Then they are saying that whatever the taxes they have paid on the inward supply, whether it is goods or services, they would be entitled to take the refund. Correct. The time limit of the refund, earlier in the act, it was 6 months. By notification, it has been extended to 18 months. Now again, it has been matched to 2 years. One minute. This is the amendment. We'll read the amendment also, but let me only tell you that yes, the time limit has been extended to 2 years now. Okay. Form and document. The form number would be GSTR 11. That is the statement of the inward supply, along with the statement of the inward supplies, that is GSTR 11. And there is a form which is being prescribed. Form number is not relevant. So only prescribed form, which we have to upload for making the refund application. Condition to be sanctioned. A refund of the taxes paid shall be available if all the applicable conditions are satisfied. Inward supplies of the goods or services received from a registered person against a tax invoice. So suppose I am UIN number. I am having the UIN number. Either I am a consulate or foreign embassy or United Nations organization. I have received that inward supply should be against tax invoice. Name, GST number of the applicant is mentioned. It means my number, my GST number or UIN number has to be mentioned on the tax invoice. Such other restriction as may be prescribed. Supremacy provision in case of inconsistency, where an express provision in a treaty or other international agreement to which the President or Government of India is a party is inconsistent with the provision of these rules, then such treaty shall prevail. Such treaty shall prevail. Next is a specialized agency notified under Section 55 entitled to refund of IGST paid on import of the goods. The Section 55 provide for the refund of the taxes on the notified goods or services. Okay. Section 3, subsection 7 of the custom provide the parity between the integrated tax attract on imported goods and the IGST applicable on them. Therefore, on the see that is okay. See, whatever there is inward supply, they are entitled to take the refund. Now, this provision, refund of retail outlet established in the departure area are of an international airport. Okay. That particular provision has been omitted. That particular provision has been entirely omitted. This is the amendment. Let me show you that. Rule 95 capital A has been omitted, and that is omitted retrospectively. Rule 95A contained the provision relating to the refund of the taxes to the retail outlet established in the departure area of the international airport beyond immigration counter, making tax-free supply to an outgoing international tourist. That has been omitted. So this provision which was there now no more relevant. Interest on delayed refund. Section 54 subsection 5 talk about interest on account of the refund consequent to the order passed by the proper officer under 54(5), where any order is where any tax order to be refunded to an applicant is not refunded within 60 days, the 60 days counting within from the date of the application, then interest shall be payable to the applicant. Okay. Interest is payable on such refund at the rate of 6%. Interest is payable to the applicant from the date immediately after the expiry of the 60 days from the date of the receipt of the application under 54(1) till the date of the refund of such tax. Okay. And this rate which has been notified is given in the notification number 30. Now, interest on account of the refund consequent to the order passed by the appeal or further proceeding. Earlier they were entitled to take the refund. Kaushiki, the effect would be earlier they were entitled, now they were not entitled in this category. Where any claim arises from an order passed by the adjudicating authority or tribunal which has attained finality and the same is not refunded within 60 days, then the interest rate would be, instead of 6, it would be 9. Interest is payable from the date immediately after the expiry of the 60 days from the date of the receipt of the application till the date of refund. Order sanctioning interest on delayed refund, where any interest is due and payable to the applicant under section 56, the proper officer shall make an order along with the payment order in the prescribed form. Such order shall specify therein amount of the refund which is being delayed, period of the delay, and amount of interest. Such interest shall be electronically credited to the bank account which is being submitted at the time of application. Consumer Welfare Fund, we have discussed the situation when the amount will be credited and the exception to the Consumer Welfare Fund. Let me read the provision. The Consumer Welfare Fund, the section 57 stipulates that government shall constitute the fund be called the Consumer Welfare Fund, and there shall be credited to the fund amount of the refund determined by an order under 54(5). So exception are given in 54(8), like tax paid on export or ITC on account of the zero rated supplies. Correct. In all such cases, amount would be refunded to the applicant. Otherwise, amount would be credited to the electronic credit ledger, to the Consumer Welfare Fund. Correct. Amount would be refunded to the Consumer Welfare Fund in the 54(5). Okay. Now they are saying whatever the amount which is being given in the 54(5) plus income from investment out of that fund and any other money received by it. Okay. Amount to be credited or paid from Consumer Welfare Fund. All amount of the duties from investment along with other money, etc., shall be credited to the fund. An amount equivalent to 50% of the amount of the IGST determined under 54(5) shall be deposited in the fund. Amount equivalent to 50% of the amount of compensation cess again shall be deposited in the fund. Amount having been credited to the Consumer Welfare Fund ordered or directed as payable to claimant by the order then shall be paid from the fund. Any amount having been credited to the Consumer Welfare Fund ordered or directed as payable to the claimant by order of the proper officer. Suppose the amount is being applied by the applicant and this amount has to be given to the applicant, but instead of the same has been credited to the welfare fund. In that case, it will be again debited from Consumer Welfare and it will be given to the applicant, which is being given in the 54(8). Okay. Utilization, all sums credited will be used for the welfare of the consumer. Okay. The government shall constitute the committee who shall make the recommendation for the utilization of the money. Okay. Now, refund of integrated tax paid on the supply of the goods to the tourist leaving India. Now, this point, the integrated tax paid by the tourist leaving India. Suppose Mr. John is a tourist who is leaving India, then whatever he paid IGST, the amount would be refunded. ठीक है. Integrated tax paid by such tourist leaving India only on goods. He cannot take the refund of services. Goods which is taking out of India shall be refunded in such manner, such condition, and such safeguard as may be prescribed. Please note, as of now, the process has not been finalized. How it will be refunded? It has not yet finalized. It is not yet finalized. So as of now, provision are there, but actually, if you talk about, there is no mechanism available in which the tourist living in India can get the refund of IGST. No. What is the meaning of tourist? Tourist means a person not normally resident in India who enter into India for a stay not more than 6 months for legitimate non-immigrant purpose. So these are the clarification given by the circular 137. Let's read the clarification. Certain clarification. So an advance is received by the supplier of the service contract, which subsequently got cancelled. The supplier has issued the invoice before supply of services and paid the GST thereon. Whether he can claim the refund of the taxes paid or he is required to adjust his tax liability in his return. See, now what is saying? You have given the advance to me. Okay. I have issued the tax invoice, but this particular work, this particular contract has been cancelled. But because I have issued the tax invoice or it is advance for supply service, I have paid the taxes. So now because work is cancelled, contract is cancelled, then they are saying that the tax is paid. How to take the, should I claim the refund or I can adjust against the output tax liability? Clarification is that they are giving the reference of 34. So first point, there is no file application. If I give the tax reference, I can issue the credit note and I can adjust the liability assumption. So the reverse credit note is the reversal of tax liability. Section 34 subsection 1 talks about the four circumstances in which one can issue the credit note. Tax liability, tax payable for tax or compound benefits, goods or services, goods and services. So in which we can issue the credit note and whatever the tax is being paid and against the tax liability. Secondly, they are asking if suppose there is no liability in the structure, then in that case, this credit note or the refund voucher, one can claim the refund and take success payment of taxes. And advance is received by the supplier and that work is service contract is cancelled, the supplier issues the voucher and paid GST on advance. Whether he can claim the refund of taxes or advance, again answer would be yes. Not cancelled. So 31 section 2, I issued the invoice for the refund voucher. He can also the refund 3E and refund can apply for the refund voucher. And once that by the supplier that our tax invoice are whether he can claim the refund taxes or required to adjust tax liability. Same. The answer to the first question, same to the third question. Now let's do the amendment part. So we'll quickly overview the amendment part and the last 10 minutes. Please make yourself available so that we can revise the entire chapter in complete manner. And 10 minutes we will revise the entire chapter. Perfect. So I will only highlight the amended part. I will not read the all provision. I will not read. I will just read the amended part. The rule 95 amended by UI category. What is the amendment? So I told you that first they are saying one of the conditions prescribed for the sanctioning the refund is that name and his GST number is mentioned on the tax invoice. If proviso has been inserted retrospectively with effect from 1/4/2021 to the set sub rule to provide that when UIN of the applicant is not mentioned in the tax invoice, the refund of the tax paid shall be available only if the copy of the invoice duly attested by the authorized representative of the applicant. So if the tax invoice does not have the UIN number, then it is okay. It has to be duly attested by the authorized representative. Second, that yes, one has asked a question. I think Simon or any participant has asked a question. Not clearly audible. Is there any problem in the voice? Is there any problem in the voice? क्लियर है ना? मैसेज आ रहा है, कोई बात नहीं. Circular 166 has clarified. Basically, the clarification was with respect to the excess balance in cash ledger. No time period for filing the refund application. So normally the time limit is 2 years, but it is not applicable for refund of cash ledger. So for refund of cash, I am applying the refund for the cash amount lying in my electronic cash ledger. Whether I have to apply within 2 years, answer is no. Then second, that no certificate is required to establish that there is an unjust enrichment. So in case of the cash, so you are taking the refund the cash from your electronic cash ledger. So there is no requirement to prove that there is unjust enrichment. There is no unjust enrichment. Obviously not, because whatever that amount you are getting, it is lying in your ledger only, cash ledger only. But unjust enrichment means you have not collected the tax from the customer. So this is not the concept of tax at all. Okay. Viras, now it is okay, na? Please, all the participants kindly confirm now, is it okay or not okay? Because I cannot find any problem from my end. Probably that would be, might be that would be at your end only. I'm not sure, but kindly double check and confirm. Is it okay or not okay? Please confirm, is it okay or not okay? Still not okay? Shivam, Kausiki, Viraj, anyone else can confirm that whether my voice is okay or not okay? Better. ठीक है. Let me start, and if you still find the problem, give me after 5 minutes or 10 minutes. एक बार देखिए 5 minutes, and after that still you are getting the problem, please remind again. So if the TDS or TCS, so in case of the supply made to the government, the TDS would be deducted, or if the supply is made through e-commerce operator, then TCS would be collected. So whatever the TDS or TCS which is being deducted or collected by the government or ECU, then they will deposit and it will be available. I can add the same in my cash ledger. Once the amount is added in my cash ledger, I can apply for the refund like I am taking the refund of cash. It is not separately like the TDS or the TCS is not somehow, it is a separate transaction. Once it is being added in the electronic cash ledger, then you can simply, like other provision, the same provision would apply on the cash refund. Okay. Relevant date for filing the refund application in case of the deemed export. So that I told you at the time of explanation only, that the return would be of supplier, not of the recipient. This is very good provision. This is very good provision. Why? In case of the deficiency in refund application, that limitation period of 2 years for making the refund exclude the time from the date of the refund claim till the date of the communication of the deficiency. Superb. Say, let's say I have filed today and department is giving me the deficiency, let's say after 10 days. And by that time, suppose my time is over on 11th, my 2-year time limit is getting over on 11th day. Then it will be the problem for me. Might be I am not able to complete the deficiency and submit the application again. So they have amended the rule 90 sub rule 3. They are saying this period, date of the application till the date of the communication, this period would be excluded. Excluded from where? Excluded from where? In the counting of 2 years. What is the 2 year? The refund application has to be submitted within a period of 2 years. Facility of the withdrawal of the refund application. Yes, this is also a welcome change. They are saying that yes, you can withdraw your refund application also. Suppose you feel that there is some not proper attachment, or there is some mistake, there is some discrepancy, you can withdraw and submit the again. Order for release of the withholding the refund issue, where refund no longer liable to be withheld. Try to understand. We'll discuss this provision. Now audio clarity is okay. Sir, it's okay now. Better now. Thank you so much. Earlier, in case where the refund is completely adjusted against outstanding demand, okay, they were saying that an order was issued. Order giving the detail of the adjustment was issued. The said proviso has been omitted. क्या मतलब हुआ? The result means that no such order will now be required to be issued. Further proviso has been inserted to provide that where the proper officer or the commissioner is satisfied that the refund is no longer liable to withdraw, he may pass an order for release of withheld refund in the prescribed form. That was also one of the point. So that was clarity subject to the export duty. It is being written. So what does it mean, export subject to the export duty? They are saying goods on which some export duty has to be paid at the time of export to be covered under restriction imposed under second proviso to the 54(3). What is that? What is the restriction? In the section 54 subsection 3, they are saying if the goods are subject to the export duty, not entitled to take the refund of accumulated ITC, if there is a drawback with respect to CGST or IGST, not entitled to take the refund of accumulated ITC. And there was one more restriction, that if I have claimed the IGST, I have taken the refund of IGST paid, then I cannot apply the refund of accumulated ITC on the same transaction. So doubt was arose that with respect to subject to export duty what is the meaning? They are saying means the goods are actually liable or leviable to export duty and suffering export duty at the time of export. So suppose if the goods in respect of which nil rate is specified in second schedule, or which are fully exempted from payment of export duty, by virtue of any notification, cannot be treated, cannot be called that it is subject to export duty, and therefore no refund would be granted for accumulated ITC. Amendment in Rule 89. What was the amendment in the Rule 89? So first amendment, any balance in the electronic cash ledger, you can take the refund. This was omitted. What is the meaning? What is the implication of the omission? As per the proviso, we can take the refund of electronic cash ledger. We can take the refund of cash only from cash ledger through GSTR 3, GSTR 7, GSTR 4 from the return itself. But that proviso was omitted. Why it has been omitted? Because the practically the refund mechanism is you have to apply RFD 01 in case of the refund of electronic cash ledger. So that is the reason they have omitted to make in line the provision as per the practical approach. So practically we are applying the RFD1 to take the refund from the cash ledger, electronic cash ledger. So that is the reason the proviso was omitted. And now they are saying the form number would be. One more word is being added, subject to the provision of Rule 10B. Now my question to all of you, what is the Rule 10B? I hope you all have already discussed or already read this provision, Rule 10B, in the registration chapter. My humble request, please let me know what is the Rule 10B. क्या है Rule 10B? Let me tell you. The Rule 10B says that your GST registration should be Aadhaar authenticated in 3 cases. Otherwise, you cannot do this 3 activity. First is revocation of cancellation. Second is refund of taxes paid under Rule 96. Third is refund of accumulated ITC under Rule 89. It means the refund would not be granted if the GST registration is not Aadhaar authenticated. I'm not going into the details of Aadhaar authentication. Section 25, subsection 6, A, B, C, D, these provisions are there. I'm not going into detail, but yes, they are added rule 10b, subject to the rule 10b in the rule 89. It means in case the application, refund application is being नो प्रॉब्लम, हिंट दो सर, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, आप समझ आ गए होगा बेटा, मैं काफी देर बाद मुझे दिखाई दिया. So in case rule 89 sub rule 1 says that I have to make the refund application, so it is subject to the rule 10b. So Aadhaar should be authenticated. Now that is okay. So if I am taking the refund because I have supplied to the SEZ unit or developer, then application should be admitted in full for authorized operation, that we have already discussed. Again, that there is no change. In case of the deemed export, recipient can also file, or alternatively supplier can also file. Then they have to take the declaration or they have to take the certificate. The recipient will not avail ITC and also will not claim for the refund. The doubt was between because if you refer the rule 89, they are talking about a specified officer, but in the SEZ rules there is a word authorized officer. So there was a discrepancy. To make in line, the explanation is being added. The specified officer means either specified or authorized officer as defined in the rule 2 of SEZ. Please note, this provision is being added. It was not there. It is added after the through this amendment from 5th July. Correct. Not 5th July, 24th September. Sorry, 24th September. Correct. So it was, what is that provision? They are saying any person claiming the refund under section 77. What was the 77? So interstate, I have assumed inter, but subsequently it comes to intra or vice versa. I have to pay the actual tax, correct tax, and take the refund of wrong taxes. So they are saying any person claiming the refund of any taxes paid by him in respect of the transaction considered to him an intra, which is subsequently held to be inter, before the expiry of the 2 year, and 2 year would be counted from the wrong tax or correct tax. That was the problem in the trade. During class, when read modules and other study material, clarity increase. Not clear. Viraj, क्या कहना चाहते हैं आप? Can you please tell me again? So in my view, the study material is much more sufficient, more than sufficient. Okay. So they are saying that 2 year would be counted not from the wrong taxes, the day when you are paying the correct taxes. Correct. Please refer the note given at the end of the detail. Okay. That is okay. So there was a problem in case of electricity. So the electricity case mein, what is the document to be submitted? They have added the details of the document to be submitted in case you are taking the refund of electricity. Because what is the problem? So electricity is a goods. Okay, electricity is a goods. But if I'm suppose electricity is suppose I'm exporting, whether you have shipping bill, will you have the shipping bill in the in case of? So they are saying statement containing the number and date of shipping bill or bill of export. Will the electricity go by the vessel or by air? Answer is no. So that was the problem which electricity company are facing for taking the refund. Because if the electricity is being exported, they are entitled to take the refund, but the problem is which statement. So they have amended or they have entered new clause BA, and they are saying they have to contain the number and date of export invoices, details of energy exported, tariff per unit for export of electricity as per agreement, etc. Okay. Then what was the amended? What was the amendment? So that we have already discussed. There is no amendment. That's this explanation we have already discussed. Correct. And this was already discussed, the amendment in the inverted duty structures. Correct. And after that, rule 95A omitted, that was a retail outlet. Correct. In the international airport, departure area of the international airport. Rule 96, what was the amendment? Let's clause B has been amended. The application has furnished a valid return. Earlier, it was written GSTR3/GSTR3B, but we know that GSTR3 was never came. All the provisions of the GST Wherever GSTR 3 was written, it was omitted. So they have changed the entire clause B. The applicant has furnished the validator in 3B, provided that if there is any mismatch between the data furnished by the exporter of goods in shipping bill and those furnished in the GSTR1, such application for refund. So this is for on payment of IGST. On payment of IGST, and we have discussed that on payment of IGST will not require any refund application. Shipping bill would be treated as a refund application. So they are saying if there is a mismatch between the shipping bill and the GSTR1, such application for refund of IGST paid on the goods exported out of India. So application for the refund shall be deemed to have been filed. Which date? On the day when the such mismatch in respect of the said shipping bill is rectified by the exporter. This was taken. And the applicant has undergo other authentication in the manner provided in Rule 10B. So Rule 10B, one is revocation, second is refund of taxes paid, that is Rule 96, and refund of accumulated ITC that we have discussed in the Rule 89 sub Rule 1. There is no amendment. Again, the form GSTR 3 has been replaced and with the GSTR 3B. Correct. So now they are saying withholding of the refund. The claim for the refund shall be withheld where the commissioner or an officer authorized by the board on the basis of the data analysis and risk parameter. If you are doing practically, you might have seen that risky exporter. The refund is held by stating the risky exporter. Who is deciding risky exporter? That there is an analysis, data analysis and risk parameter. The one unit which is called as DGARM, DGR, Director General of Analysis and Risk Management. They are applying some parameter, and on the basis if exporter result into the risky exporter because of any multiple category, multiple criteria which we don't know. So they are applying, and based on that, if that exporter comes to result into the risky, they can withhold the refund. And therefore they have added in the Rule 96(4) clause C, the commissioner in the board matlab CBIC, or an officer authorized by the board on the basis of the data analysis and risk parameter is of the opinion that verification of credential of the exporter, including the ITC, is considered essential before granting the refund in order to safeguard the interest of the revenue. In all such cases, risky exporter, they are first verifying the exporter and then they are allowing the refund. Okay. Clause 5A, Clause 5B, and Clause 5C has been inserted here. You can read that. Everything is okay. Normal. Circular 172. So, what is the clarification of issue? Where the ITC, the recipient of the whether ITC availed, that was one problem. What was the problem? See, if we are applying, in the deemed export, we know that either supplier or the recipient, anyone can go for the refund application. Now, if the recipient is going for the refund application, then that was a problem. What was the problem? That because when we are applying the refund, the amount is debited, but the deemed exporter is basically not entitled to take ITC of the taxes paid. They can only claim the refund. Then Circular 147 long back has clarified that they can add the amount as electronic credit ledger in the ITC so that when they apply the refund, it will be debited. To close the matter, they are saying whatever the tax is paid, please add in the electronic credit ledger. So you can, when you are applying the refund, it will be debited to revenue neutral situations. Just to facilitate them, that clarity has been given by Circular 147. Now, what is the problem? The problem is that whether this ITC is subject to the Section 17, like exempt supply, taxable supplies, block credit. This Circular 172 has clarified basically the recipient of deemed export is not claiming any ITC. It is being added only to facilitate the refund. Because in the refund, the amount is debited. So there has to be some amount which is available in the credit ledger. So therefore, they have clarified the ITC so availed is not subject to the Section 17. Correct. whether the ITC availed by the recipient of deemed export supplies for claiming refund of taxes paid on supply regarded as deemed export is to be included in the net ITC for computation of the refund of, let me read again, sorry, whether the ITC availed by the recipient of deemed export for claiming the refund of taxes paid on the supply regarded as deemed export is to be included, answer would be no, because it is not actually the ITC at all. It is not the ITC at all. It is only to facilitate them for taking the refund. It is, this circular has given the clarity 147. So basically it is not the ITC and therefore it will not be included in the net ITC. One important thing you should understand. See, again I'm going back to the inverted duty. What is the point? Suppose my outward supply, suppose Mr. A has made the supply to Mr. B and Mr. B has exported. All the condition of merchant exporter are satisfied. Then I can make the supply to Mr. B at the rate of 0.1%. You remember that in the merchant export, we have discussed that you are not entitled, merchant exporter are not entitled to take, to make the export on IGST. See, again, one more thing which is missed by me. Let me explain you. There is a rule 9610 which restrict the 4 situation in which one cannot export on payment of IGST. This is very important provision. Somehow it is missed. Let me explain in summary manner. If I have received, I am exporter. If I have received my inward supply either under deemed export or under merchant export, or taking the substantial benefit of the custom notification against advance authorization. Rule 89 4A 4B, recall, if I have the inward supplies of that, I cannot export on IGST. Rule 9610 restrict me. I have to export against LUT and I have to apply the refund under separate category. Point number 1. Point number 2, let's say I have purchased from Mr. A. Mr. A has made the supply by charging the GST at the rate of 0.1%. So question was arose, can Mr. A take a refund under inverted duty? The answer would be yes. Answer would be yes. Circular 135 has created one more restriction under inverted duty. What is that? Try to understand. Say, I am a trader of goods. I am a trader of the goods. On 20th Feb, I have purchased certain goods. Let's say pencil sharpener. Let's say any item. We know that in the 49 GST Council meeting, the rate on the pencil sharpener has been reduced from 18 to 12. So let's say today I have purchased the pencil sharpener by 18%. Tomorrow, let's say rate comes to 5% or 12%. They have given the 12%. I am doing that trading. I am doing the trading. I have purchased at 18%, but I'm supplying. Tomorrow I'm supplying at 12%. The question was asked whether I would be entitled to take the refund under inverted duty. The answer was given no. You are the trader. You cannot take the refund under inverted duty. If the tax rate are different at different point of time, remember these words. If the tax rate are different at different point of time, then this would not fall under the inversion. I have purchased on 28th Feb and on 1st March, the rate on sharpener has been reduced to 12%. Will it be applicable? Answer is no. This would not be entitled for the refund under inverted duty. Parallelly, what happened? Once they are seeing that trader are not entitled, see, this is again for your practical insight. Once they are saying that trader are not entitled to take the refund, the field formation GST officer has stopped the refund which of Mr. A who has supplied against 0.1%. Try to understand. Mr. A has supplied against 0.1%. Will he be entitled to take the refund of accumulated ITC? ITC would be accumulated in the hand of Mr. A because might be he has purchased at different rate and he is supplying only 0.1% because of the notification. So the question was, the important question was arose in the market that will these reduction in the rate because of any notification? In that case, if I am making the supply at reduced rate because of notification, will Mr. A be entitled to take the refund under inverted duty? Recently, they have clarified The answer would be yes. If the rate has been reduced because of any notification, okay, like one example is the merchant exporter, then the supplier would be definitely entitled to take the refund under inverted duty. It is not barred by circular 135. This is very important one, so I took some time to explain. In the section 54, this part was amended and time limit of 6 months has been extended to 2 years, and refund is due. So that is okay. In 54.2 explanation, yes, I was talking about now that in the section 54 subsection 2 clause BA was inserted. Why it is being inserted? To define the relevant date in case the supply to the SEZ unit or developer. Prior to this insertion, the supply to the SEZ unit or developer, what is the relevant date? It was not defined. So there was various doubt is being aroused. Will it be date of the removal of the goods? Will it be the date of invoice? What would be the relevant date? Then they are saying the relevant date would be the due date of furnishing the return under section 39. That's it. So by this, we have completed. Ashokji, you can make me at a center. So I have done my discussion. I have completed my discussion. Please make me at a center. Start करें. Shall we start the quick round of the question answer? Everything is clear now. Just please confirm. Are you enjoying the classes? Are you enjoying the classes? Please confirm, everyone. Are you enjoying the classes? Start करते हैं. So I have the question, whatever the reply you will give, I will look into the. Now there is nothing to do to see on the screen, so I'll. Sir, increase study speed. विराट जी, आपकी बढ़ गई है, मुझे बढ़ानी है. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So let me ask the question. Let me ask the question and be attentive so that we can revise almost entire chapter. ठीक है. One second. What is the time limit to file the refund application in case of the UIN category? What is the time limit to file the refund application in case of UIN category? The answer is 2 years. Whether UIN is a registered person, whether UIN is a registered person, whether UIN is a registered person, the answer is no, UIN is not a registered person. See, can I apply for the refund in case of the export of the goods without amount being realized in the foreign currency? Can I export? Can I apply for the refund in case of the export of the goods without being realization? Without realization of the amount in the foreign currency, can I apply for the refund in case of the goods? Answer is yes. Answer is yes, I can apply. In case of service, it is restricted, but in case of the goods, it is not restricted. Can you please tell me what is the time limit to refund application is 2 years from which date? We have discussed one technical name, one technical word. The 2 year from which date? The time limit to file the refund application is 2 years from which date? Time limit to file the refund application is 2 years from which date? The answer is 2 years from the relevant date. Can you please tell me the relevant date in case of export of service? In case of export of service, can you please tell me the relevant date, if possible? Wow, very nice. Can you please tell me the relevant date in case of the export of services? The answer is invoice or date of realization, whichever is later. Great, great. Very nice, sir. Very nice. Nice. Now tell me, I have to prove unjust enrichment. I have to prove unjust enrichment, that there should no unjust enrichment. Whether this unjust enrichment is applicable for taking the refund from electronic cash ledger, whether this particular concept of unjust enrichment is applicable in case of the refund of cash ledger. The answer is no, no, not applicable. Next question. There are some percentage that yes, this much of the percentage would be given as a refund. Provisional refund would be granted. The provisional refund would be granted such percentage. Can you please tell me how much percentage? Answer is 90%. Next question. Suppose I have paid excess taxes. Let's say I have paid excess taxes of rupees 2 lakh, out of which 170 is being paid through input tax credit and 30,000 is being paid through cash ledger. So this 2 lakh, when I apply for the refund, the entire amount would be given in my bank, or it would be in the same proportion in which I have made the tax payment. Will the entire 2 lakh will be given in my bank account, or it will be given in the same proportion in which I have made the tax payment? The answer is in the same proportion in which you have paid the taxes. Entire amount will not be given. Entire amount will not be given in the bank. It will be in the same proportion. Can you please tell me the time limit to give the refund? What is the time limit to give the refund? Can you please tell me what is the time limit to give the refund? Can you please tell me what is the time limit to give the refund? 60 days from the refund applications. There was an amendment. There was an amendment that certain days would be excluded in counting the time limit of refund applications. Can you please tell me certain exclusion has been made? Certain exclusion has been made for calculating the time limit of 2 years. Can you please tell me? Is but thoda sa lamba hoga. It would be slightly longer answer, but try to give me the answer that certain time period would be excluded for calculation of 2 years. Absolutely correct. My God, great. Date of application till the date of the communication of the deficiency. Very nice, Shivam. Very nice. Really appreciate it. Fine. In case of the export of the goods on payment of IGST, what is the refund application? Which document will be considered as a refund application? What is the name of the document which is considered as a refund application? The answer is shipping bill. The answer is shipping bill. Next question is that we have discussed that if the goods are being sent or taken out of India but not brought back, then there was a time limit that if the goods are not coming back within this period, then it will be deemed to be supplied. Can you please tell me what was the time limit? See, we have discussed that goods sent or taken out of India but not brought back. Then it will be treated as a deemed supply after the expiry of certain period. What was that period? The answer is 6 months. If I have received advance, but that contract has been cancelled, I have to give back that amount. Which document I will issue? What is the name of the document which I will issue? What is the name of the document which I will issue? If I have received the advance and this advance I am returning, which document I will issue? The answer is refund voucher. Answer is refund voucher. Next question. Please tell me whether, please tell me importance of realization in the foreign currency for export of the goods. What is the importance of foreign currency realization in case of the export of the goods? I am talking about Rule 96B. I am talking about Rule 96B. Answer is, in case of the export of the goods, I can take the refund. There is no restriction that foreign currency should be brought back. But if the foreign currency not coming back, not received within the time limit as per the FEMA, I have to pay back the amount of refund along with the interest. Okay. Next, one refund related provision was omitted. There is an amendment that one category of the refund provision is being omitted retrospectively. Can you please tell me what was that? One refund provision was omitted. Can you please tell me what was that provisions? Slight bit, if you can just tell me some hint, that's sufficient. Very right, Kaushiki and Shivam, absolutely correct. What is the omission recently? What is the omission with respect to one? Yes. A retail outlet established in the departure area of an international airport. Absolutely correct. Can you please tell me the rate of interest if the refund is not within the 60 days? If the refund is not being granted within 60 days, then what would be the rate of interest? The answer is 6%. Can you please tell me whether any other rate is also there, whether any other rate is also there for interest on refund, whether any other rate is also there for interest on refund. Answer is yes, that is 9%. That is 9%. From my side, any one categories of the refund for which the provision is not yet established or for which the provision is not yet made. In the section, there is a refund, there is a provision, but correspondingly, the forms process has not been prescribed. In which categories of the refund, the law is saying to grant the refund, but yes, the form, etc. process is not yet prescribed. Which category? In which category? Yes, the answer is refund in case of the international tourist paying IGST. One more question let me ask. Suppose I have treated the transaction as intra, but subsequently held as inter. Then the relevant date, 2 years from the relevant date. In this case, the relevant date would be the wrong taxes paid, which I am taking the refund, or the date when I am paying the correct taxes. What is the relevant date in case of section 77? What is the relevant date in case of section 77? The answer is the date when I'm paying the correct taxes. And this really my last question. This really my last question. In case of section 77, whether interest would be applicable or not. Whether interest would be applicable or not, because I have paid the wrong taxes. I am paying the correct tax, let's say after 4 years. Then whether interest would be applicable for the 4 year or not. क्या मुझे इंटरेस्ट देना पड़ेगा? डू आई नीड टू पे द इंटरेस्ट और नॉट? Answer is no. No interest. In case of section 77, there is no interest. So thank you very much. Good night to all of you. I hope you all have enjoyed the class. We'll meet in the next class. Any point, if you like to tell me, please tell. Otherwise, we can leave the class. We can complete the class. कोई point अगर आप कहना चाहते हैं, you can definitely welcome. You can definitely say most welcome. Otherwise, हम लोग नेक्स्ट क्लास में मिलते हैं. थैंक यू वेरी मच. गुड नाइट टू ऑल ऑफ यू. अशोक जी, आप कंक्लूड कर सकते हैं आज का सेशन.